Hey you guys, welcome to the video. I am your girl Gardener at the Root 101. Well, you could just call me Gardener at the Root. Today's video will just be about learning some inexpensive and easy ways to get around your garden with less hassle. Okay, so if this is your first time here, welcome. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're on our way. We're currently at 160 subscribers, so by the end of the month we're trying to reach 200 subscribers. So if you are enjoying the content, just make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss another video. Okay, so let's get into it. So of course, we're all learning to start to garden. I've been gardening for a couple of years now, so I'm definitely not a pro. I'm definitely learning, and we're all learning. So this is a space where we're all learning together. Okay, so all of the tips and the tricks that I learned, I definitely will be posting. Some things I have learned on my own, I definitely will be making videos about that as well, so that your gardening journey can be much easier than mine was. Okay, so first tip that I definitely want to encourage you guys to do is be patient. A lot of times when we start to garden, we don't realize that being patient is so important. Being patient, taking time to really figure out where you want your garden, and that every time you start a plant, there is a possibility that it can die. So being patient when you started to learn how to garden is so critical to learning how to navigate through your garden so it can be very successful year after year after year. Okay, tip number 2, start to come out in the garden on increment times. And when I say increment times, when I first started to learn how to garden, I would come out to the garden for every 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day. So give yourself time. Remember, our first tip was just being patient. So also give yourself time in increments every day, and start with 20 minutes or 30 minutes, however long you feel is fit for you to be out here in the garden when it's hot. Okay, so when I first started to learn how to garden, I would come out and for 20 minutes, okay, every day, and then the next week I would make my time go even higher. So when you allow yourself 20 minutes, it helps you not to get so overwhelmed. So the first set of 20 minutes that you're in the garden, those are the 20 minutes that you take, and then you give yourself a break. And if you want to come back to the garden after the 20 minutes, you are more than welcome to. But for those who are learning how to garden, give yourself time. Give yourself 20 or 30 minutes or even an hour. It's totally up to you. But again, I did 20 minutes for the first week, almost 2 weeks. And then that's when I started to up my time. That way, you start to get more and more comfortable in the garden. Oftentimes when you're new to the garden process, you're trying to be out there for hours and hours and hours, and you get very overwhelmed and you feel like you haven't made any progress. So allow yourself time. Be patient. It's okay. We're going to get through this gardening thing, and you will too. Okay. Next, also another tip that I have learned is to try to come out in the garden when the sun is not out. Okay, this will also be able to give you a longer process to be outside in the garden. Oftentimes people come out there in the garden when the sun is already out and it's very hot and you can't really get a lot done. Even with having a sun hat, it's still hot. You get irritated, your body is moving in the garden. So try to figure out, in whatever zone you are in, what time the sun comes out. Okay, so if you can get up an hour early, 30 minutes, 40 minutes early, before the sun actually comes out, you'll have better residual out here in the garden. You will have a better chance at being out here in the garden for a longer period of time. Also, a lot of times, sometimes I come out here in the garden in the afternoon when the sun has actually went down and it's really not dark. Okay, so oftentimes you can come out in the afternoon in the garden. It doesn't have to be in the morning. It can be in the midday. So pick a time that is right for you. Oftentimes we hear everybody say, oh, go out there in the garden in the morning, but maybe that's not suitable for you to go out there in the garden. So whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, pick what's best for you where the sun isn't so hot, okay? Oftentimes, like I said, I've come in the garden where the sun actually went down and it's actually not as hot, okay? I'm able to go around my garden and prune some things, even water, okay? Another tip is try to water your garden again before the sun comes out. A lot of times people water their gardens when the sun is out, and so you're going to be competing against the water and the heat on your plants, and you don't want to stress your plants out, okay? So try to water your garden before the sun comes out. That way, when the sun comes out, your plants are already hydrated. They're already ready for when the sun comes down, and give them a good old fashioned beating. Okay, another tip is also, we talked about being patient. We also talked about doing time in the garden and giving yourself time for the garden and watering the garden before the sun comes out, okay? Another tip that I have that has definitely helped me in the gardening process is being able to map out your garden. Before you started putting down plants and fruit trees, start to zone and map out your garden, okay? It's a very great idea if you map out your garden. You go around your garden and you really look at where you want to put things. It will actually bring things in perspective so that when you are ready to plant out here in the garden, you are ready and you have where you want to actually put your garden, okay? So that's the last tip I'm going to give you, is map out your garden. Figure out before you lay any plants down where you want to put things, okay? And how you're going to have it planted out. Are you going to have arches? Those are the type of things that I plant before I put my plants down. If you can do that, it's very helpful for those who are first time gardeners. It will relieve a lot of stress that you don't need in the garden, okay? So I hope some of these tips, these are a lot of tips for new time gardeners as well as mid gardeners, to help put that in perspective. So thank you so much for clicking and following, okay? If you have any comments or even want me to do a certain video, make sure you comment down below as well, and I will definitely do the video. I'll come back on another video and give you some more tips, but those are the definitely basic tips for new beginners that I want to give out. Is be patient, time in the garden, the time you need to water your plants, and also mapping out your garden. Even if you stay in an apartment, it's still very crucial to see where you want to put things at and how you want to put them, okay? So again, thank you for watching Gardening at the Root. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a video. And I'll see y'all later. Bye!